Yes, sir. We are live now. Please start.
Thank you, Mr. Balaji. A very good evening to all NPTEL learners. Myself, I'm Mahendra Kumar, working as an additional chief manager in projects and business development division of NLC India Limited. NLC India Limited is a Navratna central public sector undertaking under the administrative control of Ministry of Coal, headquartered at Tamil Nadu. Having been in the existence in the field of power sector for the past 66 years, with spreading wings from lignite-based mining power generation, coal-based mining power generation, wind power projects, solar power projects, battery energy storage system, with an installed capacity of 6,060 megawatt and a mining capacity of 50.6 million tons per annum along the length and breadth of the country. And I am from Projects and Business Development Division. And today the topic for discussion is project management for sprouting engineers. Project management gains its utmost importance because of the fact the growth of any nation depends upon the successful implementation of the planned projects. We have a lot of plans. We have mega plans. All those plans are to be put into action through projects. And nowadays, such projects are encountered with n number of challenges, both new, very novel and strong, and from various quarters. We encounter that, and that challenges the successful implementation of the projects, leading to a hindrance in the path of our development. As a country, as a state, as an individual, it hinders a lot. So today, I thought of planning the lecture for the next 45 minutes under the following 5 topics. What is the need for project management? Is there any justification that is, or does this topic require that much of importance in today's context, and is it necessary to be taken on to the engineers? Then, if we are justified with the topic, what is a project? What is it? Why is it so unique? Why do we need to talk about it? Is it not a normal science that everyone can acquire and can master it? Or has it not been mastered until this date? And those things. And the factors that challenge or that pose serious threats to successful projects. And for successful projects, the project management, how it is necessary, and in a shorter span, what are the qualities or what are the competencies that would support in successful project management, leading to kind of success in the near future. So how effectively, how alacrity, way ahead, how cheerfully we need to respond to these challenges, what is ahead of us, and what are the ways, is what is the 5th topic which I like to discuss in this lecture. First, need for project management. We need to get to understand in our country, there is totally 1,770 projects which are worth more than 150 crore rupees of investment, which are directly involved in the infrastructural development of the country, of which we have, let us see the major number of projects in the sectors. Road sector has the highest number of projects with 934 projects under implementation. Railways with 312 projects. Petroleum with 138 projects. There are 106 coal projects under implementation. 83 power projects, water resource projects 47, urban development 33, health and family welfare 29, and the remaining, if put together, there are 1,770 projects which are being monitored by Parliament, or the development of the nation depends on. Why do they monitor? They believe the success of this project would transform the country to a better position, so they monitor it. And there is a separate ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, involved in monitoring and reporting the same to the Parliament for guidance. Say the total cost, the statistics shows you the 1,770 projects, out of which 500 projects are costing more than 1,000 crore rupees. So it involves money, it involves public money, and the total investment in such infrastructural project accounts for 27 trillion or 27 lakh crore rupees. A large chunk is there. It is not just this investment alone which is playing a major role. Because of this investment, we plan to generate employment, we plan to generate livelihoods, we plan to generate a lot of development in the country. So 27 lakh crores, which is expected to bring in too much of revenue into the system and development into the sector, into the society, of which astonishingly, if you see the facts, this is based on the July 2021 flash report submitted to the Parliament. Of the 1,770 projects, 12 projects are ahead of schedule, great. And 238 projects are on schedule, great, as planned, as per the feasibility report or the detailed project report. It is progressing well, while it is very clear that 541 projects are delayed. Rather than the number of projects which are on schedule, the number of projects delayed is doubled. And 479 projects have got a cost overrun, means it is going to cost you more than what we have initially planned. Who is going to share the burden? It is going to be ultimately people's money. And there are 979 projects with inadequate information, meaning they are in no man's land because they are in a position unable to fix when they can complete, what cost they would incur. So it is at a confused state. So, and the cost escalation that these projects have encountered, the 1,770 projects have encountered, is 4,40,000 crores, which is, if this would have not been incurred, the benefit which would have come to the general public would have been still better. Approximately 20% escalation has come. So the benefit which we are supposed to, which we have to enjoy, is the cost is being escalated. It is all public projects, it's all infrastructure projects. Ultimately, it will load upon to the citizens of the country. So projects gain utmost importance. And the traditional way, if you see these projects, what I spoke was about cost escalation, and there is one more parameter in the report stating that on an average, every project put together, there is 46 months delay for a project. So we call it as time overrun. So those are the two terms which traditionally being thought of evaluating a progress of a project. And time overrun, they have tabulated the major causes for this. What has led to time overrun in these projects? Land acquisition is a major area which pulls down the time schedule of the project. Various reasons, sentiments, and improper planning. So there are a lot of reasons which actually would trigger challenges in land acquisition. Statutory clearances. All of these projects would require approvals from Environment Ministry or any statutory authority upon which it is involved to. Those are taking a lot of time. And financing, because a sector grows suddenly, there is a change in scenario leading to the financing pattern, or there is a crunch in the cash flows leading to challenges in project financing. Change in scope in between. You plan one thing and in between you would like to change it, and leading to time overrun. Law and order problems, sentiments of public play a major role. So time overrun, what I said, 46 months on an average, could be because of any of these reasons. Cost overruns, erroneous estimation. The day we plan, we must have everything on data with precise, accurate nature. Can be a little swing, but 20% swing is too much. Exchange rate variations, which is not in our hands. The environmental costs, as and when loaded, because of some changed norms, you are being enforced to go for some kind of investment. land cost, which is spiraling like anything, general inflation, time overruns too goes for cost overrun. Fine. So ultimately what we try to say, the progress of the nation depends upon infrastructural projects, and these infrastructural projects are traditionally, and a major chunk of it is being encountering time as well as cost overrun with the reasons listed here. And you need to have enough knowledge, because you'll have to evolve every time. You can't say that it is new and I am failing. So it is of prime importance that the effective project management, right from planning to completion, the knowledge has to be imparted to all the masses, engineers in particular, who are more involved in project implementation, execution, as well as planning and other activities. So the success of nations, development of nation lies, or the betterment of the society lies in the successful implementation of these projects. If you have to successfully implement this project, you need to have effective project management, informed project management, and that is the need of the hour. So it gains utmost importance in the present context, and that too, engineers, sprouting engineers who are the future, who will be, because today it is 27 lakh crores and 1,770 projects. I promise you, it is not going to reduce at any point of time. The projects may change from one sector to another sector, but the investments as well as the number of projects is expected to swell in the days to come, and the thrust for effective project management will be very high on the incoming engineers into the society. Fine. So we have understood the importance of it because of the quantum of dependence on the societal development. Next, what is project? Why does more than 50% time overrun, 20% cost overrun? In what way is this causing? Is this science causing me this delay? We'll get to know what a project is first. Only then it would be an informed decision to proceed further. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. There are plenty of definitions if you Google it. But we need to understand what it is. Here in this particular statement, what I told you, I would like to tell you temporary endeavor, unique product, service, or result. These two things. Temporary, that means it is not permanent and it has a definitive time frame. The project comes into play, does its purpose, and then it completes. So every time it is going to be a new venture. It is going to be a new venture. It is going to create a unique, it is not comparable, or it doesn't have a standard operating procedure. Unlike operations, over a period of time, because of the repetitive nature, we'll be able to build a particular standard operating procedure. But in case of project, that may not be possible since it is temporary and it is unique. Say, furthermore definitions are there. I would like to bring a little more elaborate definition. A unique process consisting of a set of coordinated, controlled activities with a start and finish dates undertaken to achieve an objective conforming to specific requirements, including constraints of time, cost, and resources. Again, I would like to reiterate the point, unique process. When the act you do becomes unique, you cannot depend on something, some reading material. So unique, you are doing it for the first time, you may be encountering so many number of surprises, surprising challenges. And if it would have been a small act, by this time people would have mastered it. If it is a little smaller act, people would have mastered it over a period of time. But project involves Herculean tasks with a lot many number of coordinated, controlled activities and complex in nature. it requires knowledge, it requires certain competencies. And again, it is not without any boundaries. It is bound within a time frame. You will have to complete, because you say it is unique, I don't know the knowledge, that's why I give me infinite timing to complete a work. No, never does that happen that way. You will be constrained, because the more time you take, the more cost or the benefit that is to be delivered at a particular point of time is getting delayed. So normally it will be constrained within a time frame. Specific requirements, it is not again something, the scope is very precise, and constraints are there: time, cost, and resources. Time is constrained, cost is constrained, and the resources you deploy for this particular endeavor is constrained. So a temporary uniqueness is associated with project, making you vulnerable to surprises and unexpected happenings in your act. That is what is a point to be taken on mind when you try to understand a project. Key points, I would say, as I was telling, it's a temporary endeavor. You have a definitive time frame. You have a definitive time frame, and you will have to complete it within that time, or else you will have some detrimental effect on your act. Next is because let us not, it is very tough for us to memorize the what we call it as the definitions, because definitions are plenty. Let us take in mind the only key points, takeaway points. Unique output. You are not copying, you are not doing a repetitive job, you are doing it only once, and you are doing it which it's for only once you do it. So it is going to be very interesting and challenging. Progressive elaboration. There is one point, we call it as a rolling wave concept. In a project, unlike in certain acts, when we plan, we stick on to the plan in detail. The day one, we plan well, we'll go into minute details and we adhere to that. Whereas in projects, because of its uniqueness, the day one, it is tough for us to firmly adhere to the minutest details. As we progress in our acts, as we progress with our workings, it gets clearer and clearer. That's what when we say rolling wave, the wave which is at farther gives you an overall picture, but only when it comes nearer to you, you will be able to have a very clear picture of it. So we'll have to understand that you will not be given with the exact minutest detail on day one. As you progress, you'll be getting the finer details. Accordingly, you will have to plan your acts. Affirmation may not be a successful act in projects. You will have to adapt to the situations to see the desired result is delivered. That is one more important point, because quite often affirmation or strongly adhering to certain points would not yield results in projects. The way how you are flexible helps you in delivering the results, end results. Constraints. The project, as being told, classically is being constrained with 3 points. The scope. Say when you tell a project, the scope should be clearly defined, or the deliverable which you require, which you expect is delivered and is firm. And the next is cost. Excuse me. The cost, the total amount that is going to be incurred in this endeavor, time upon which we'll have to complete. These 3 are in triangular constraints, which if one is affected, the other 2 are expected to get affected. So they form firm points on a project, and based on which all your acts has to happen within this triangle. Classically, these 3 were considered earlier. As day passes up, we call it as modified project constraints. In addition to scope, time cost, quality has also formed a strong point or a stringent point in projects nowadays. Risks, considering surprises and unexpected challenges coming into picture, now it is being mandated to bring a chapter of risk also as a constraint. Resources which was within cost has been taken out and has been also put as a constraint and has to be clearly defined during your initial condition, and based on there any change will have an impact on all these things. So all are important constraints for a project. Modified today, all this forms an important constraint for project people. So we come to know what a project is. It is a temporary endeavor which is undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. And we have three key takeaways. Point number one, it is temporary. Point number two, unique. And third is progressive elaboration. This project already is posing quite some challenges because of its surprises. Apart from that, there are many factors which influence projects. Let us see that. Say, this project, success of a project is also hindered, or I would say impacted by internal factors to the implementing agency, external factors to the implementing agency and the stakeholders involved in a project. Let us see the internal factors that will impact the projects. Financial position. No doubt, the financial position of an organization dictates the progress of a project. Not only the position, financial position of an organization, also funding agencies' perspective towards the project. I would give you an example. By 2000, there has been good funding towards thermal power projects, good funding that happened in the society. But now if you go, either the interest rates are very high or the funding agencies have turned their faces from thermal power generation and they are now happily funding renewable energy based projects. Power generation, which was earlier from coal or lignite, now they wish to fund from wind or solar. That way there's change. This will have an impact on the company's ability on finances, the rate at which they get the debt loan. That will have an impact and will seriously impact the project. Strategy. The changing nature of the organization to a particular change that has happened in the society. The way we react to a happening in the society will impact the implementation of a project. Strategy of the organization will play a role in the projects. Growth plan. Yes, how far we have decided. We plan to say, for example, in the country's perspective, I'll say it's approximately 92 gigawatt or 92,000 megawatt installed capacity of renewable energy as on today, approx. While by 2022 December, the country likes to achieve 1,75,000 megawatt. It's more than twice. It's approximately twice. It's near twice. So the way you have more than only 15 months of time for reaching the target. So your growth plan will make you work, the nation will work towards in all guns to in all holes just to see that it is achieved. So that are internal factors which have a role to play in projects. External factors, say internal to some extent is predictable, to some extent controllable. While the external factors which are entirely external to the organization, but still will have an impact. Political, we call it as with an acronym PESTLE, political. You are aware the political will have infrastructure projects, will have a big say in the fate of a project. Maybe positive, may also be negative in few cases. Economical, how say the decisions that happen in the supra-economic strata. Say today there is a big thrust for battery energy storage system. So this would support projects that are having storage or battery storage systems in a large fashion. So these economic factors will help projects to come in that direction. Social, how the society responds. Say thermal with the reports speaking about global warming, the fate of thermal projects or the societal perspective towards the thermal projects will change and will lead to its annihilation. So social factors play a role in the fate of projects. Technological changes. Yes, previously we had been speaking about subcritical thermal power projects. Now we are speaking about supercritical. Ultra supercritical means large efficient plants. And we had been speaking about lead acid batteries. Today we are going with lithium batteries, sodium sulfur batteries, flow batteries. So technological changes will have a role to play in projects. Legal, yes. There has been decisions which are given by judiciary system on the fate of projects. There are plenty of examples available in the general public, in the medias about stopping of projects based on legal guidelines or reviving of projects based on their guidance. Environmental, yes, the shift from thermal generation towards renewable energy generation, newer renewable energy generation, is because of the interest or the particular respect we share towards the environment. So these factors are external to the implementing agency and will have a serious impact on the fate of projects. So by definition, I said challenges, I said uniqueness, and further I told that there may be impacts, mostly detrimental, mostly damaging from external. So project has to be understood as a challenged task. It is not an easy routine task. For this challenged task to be completed, there are certain competencies that need to be acquired. We'll see what is required. Say, through project management, because I say project management as an overall competency, through project management, the probability of success of a project can be improved, but cannot be guaranteed. But why? Because unpredictable challenges will be faced. But having adaptability to that, this project management competency brings in some kind of adaptability or some kind of tools and techniques for your knowledge to work on. It increases the probability of a project success. What is project management? You need to define. You initially defined the project. Now we'll have to define project management. Say, project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools and techniques to meet project requirements, It is not just bookish knowledge. This particular diagram gives you a very, very clear picture. Not just knowledge, skills, tools and techniques. It's a combination of these three competencies or skill or these three areas to be applied to the project activities to meet the project requirements. To further elaborate, this diagram will give you a clear idea. Art, science, skill, knowledge. So with books, with what we read, we call it as science. We have certain tools and techniques developed through the evolution of science. The project management, based on experience, uses only 20% or relies only 20% on science, while 80% of project management depends on the art part or the skill part. That plays a major role in project management, which we'll have to take into mind, because project management is not learned through books but through competencies, traits, skill sets, leadership, communication, motivation, creativity, innovation are some among them. We'll discuss about few of these competencies. Let us throw a little light on that, so that you will be able to develop, because all these are competencies which cannot be taught, can bring an eye-opening session based on individuals' capability and perceptional qualities that would evolve, grow, and will yield results. Leadership. Leadership plays a major role in project management, because it involves too many number of changes that has to be brought in the acts in your work. You need to be flexible, you need to deliver results, you need to deliver challenging results. We'll see the roles or styles of leadership as well as the roles of leadership. There are 4 styles of leadership: autocratic, democratic, bureaucratic, laissez-faire. Could also be called as participative, democratic, something else. Autocratic, it is a single way of communication. The command comes from the top, which is being obeyed by the subordinates. And democratic, as the name indicates, participative, bidirectional. So you discuss to decide on your pathway actions. Bureaucratic, neither bottom nor top. It is based on book of rules. The books will guide you how you need to act at a particular occasion. Laissez-faire, where the leader doesn't bother about the subordinates. I would say, because individually people would like to say that this is good, that is good, this is bad, but it would be more appropriate when all these are used at appropriate locations and situations. It is not a one single particular style which we need to depend upon for success. For example, autocratic, which most often people don't like, many don't like, but would serve its purpose, provided the person who is leading is the super knowledgeable person. If he is the best knowledgeable person, only based on his knowledge his subordinates is bound to work, then it is not participation. You keep wasting time. When it is for sure that he is an expert, it is advisable just to adhere to his commands. On occasions where the subordinates do not possess the requisite knowledge, autocratic or one-way command, do it and get the results. Or on occasions, say for example, uniformed services, those people use this type of command because it requests only that would get results. Democratic, where the knowledge level is equal, means the subordinate is also equally knowledgeable, and it is not a conventional way of working. You need to find some innovative means to break the barrier. When that is the case, you have to depend on participative culture, because you need to evolve a new option. That time democratic is good. Bureaucratic, financial, safety, where books will dictate what you need to do. It is not your creativity or it is not your command. You need to depend on the standards which have been stipulated, upon which your work should be there. Laissez-faire may also be adapted to the subordinates who are self-actualized. It is not a waste. You are really motivating. A person who is self-actualized need not be guided for his acts, day-to-day acts. He himself is a well-realized individual. Give him free hands. You are delegating. You are making him coming up. So you depend on the right person, and that yields the result. So a mix based on situations will deliver results, which is the need of the hour for a project. Because in projects, we'll be finding all these situations part of a time. Role of a leader, again, because you need to command control. Only when you command control, you will be able to deliver results. Your words should be respected. Where there is 4 types of roles that can be played by a leader. The first is directing. When your subordinate is so new and you are good in it and you guide him in each and every act, it depends upon who you are and who your subordinate is, based on which he is a very young novice guy and you can take that style. Coaching, you give him enough time to get acquainted with the knowledge. You coach him, you little coach him. Support, you don't interfere, but you encourage them by doing it. Delegation, the final stage where you depend and give the responsibility to your subordinates. It should go this way. Initially, you could direct, later you could coach, you could support, and then finally take him to a stage of delegating the responsibilities. That should happen this way, which will give best results, projects, and even a normal case. So leadership plays a very important role in project management, has to be dealt based on this. Next, motivation. These two plays the 80% in project management. And here you need to understand one fact. There are various theories available regarding motivation for people, of which let me take 2 theories. Maslow's hierarchy theory, where they identify 5 points which motivates people. Starting from, there are 5 things which is arranged as per a pyramid. First is physiological needs, all your needs, say for example, money, all your needs, physiological needs. Next level is safety. You need to feel safe and secure. Affiliation, you need to get some kind of affiliation, some kind of acceptance in a society or in a team. Esteem, rising to a position among the team. Then self-actualization. These are 5 motivating, but understand, first a person gets motivated by physiological needs. When you meet that need, he gets motivated, he starts working. There is a particular time, by that time, this act of meeting his physiological needs, say paying him salary, does not motivate him. He feels, okay, it is okay, I get it, enough. Then next level is safety. How far does he feel secured in his work as well as home? When that is ensured, again he feels motivated. The same gets stopped at a particular point of time. Then he wants acceptance in a society. By way of his job or whatever might it be, he wants to be accepted within a group of people, within the society. Affiliation needs, we call it as. And that would motivate him until a particular point of time. Then again, it becomes a routine fashion and it is not further going to propel him. Then esteemness. Among the society, the particular position he takes further is bringing in esteemness to him. That propels him. Yes, I need to reach the top position. I need to get that. That propels him. Once upon attaining that, again, it would stop, but it takes him to the next level, what is called a self-actualization, where the individual himself is self-propelled. No more further external factors will motivate him. He will feel motivated. So normally, people say, I pay him or he is being paid, he should work. That would work only in the initial days. Later, that would fade out. Similarly, all the 5 factors which I told you will initially propel a person, later would stop. So you will have to give it as and when it is required and take him to the final stage of self-actualization, where you can delegate and you can wait and see your subordinates perform. So everyone performs, results are delivered. The another theory which I would like to discuss is Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. Always he has classified as 2 things. One is hygiene, another one is motivators. Hygiene should be present in the system and is not a motivator actually. It is a hygienic system without which no one will stay. But providing hygiene or a particular hygienic factor does not see that he will work hard. No, it is required. It is a base requirement. Motivators are different, which has to be given to the subordinates to deliver results. What are hygiene? Salary, safety, company policy, working conditions are hygiene. It is being seen as a base requirement for people. People deem it to be a base requirement, and they don't feel motivated provided you give salary. If you don't give salary, they get out. But if you give salary, that doesn't mean that they are motivated. Motivators are giving responsibility, providing work content, recognition, growth. This actually propels people. That is one kind of understanding that has to be taken for properly motivating people in the organization. And innovation and creativity, as I have told you, there is no standard operating procedure. Means you cannot depend on any books to read so that you will be able to implement this project perfectly, because this project will have some issues with land acquisition, another project will have some issues with some other labor problem. So it is so different. The same thermal project has got different challenges for us in different locations. So it is your innovation and creativity, a particular skill set which has to be inculcated to deliver results. So innovation is putting ideas to work. Innovation, concepts which are realizable, those are innovation. Which are incremental. Something is happening, you incrementally work on that, or disruptive in some cases. You create something so new and you achieve great results. But it involves, because as it is being tried, it will involve financial risk, but that is dominating today's sector, today's project management. Creativity, on the other hand, is something so imaginative. If this happens, this is required such that even though not now, at one point of time, that may be reality, or that could give in some kind of achievable, realizable options for us to work. So these quality are to be made ready, are required on the part of engineers or people who work in projects. Way ahead. Say, to be very true, as I was telling you, 27 trillion rupees is in implementation. And this 27 trillion is not just going to be its capex. Its operational expenditure would be multiples of this. And the same is expected to grow. So in our country, we are going to have a tremendous development. This development is thoughts, words. It has to convert into deeds, achievable deeds, because we start a project, but getting delayed or unachievable or getting stuck up due to some other reasons are normally happening. This has to be broken. This has to be broken. Who can break it? People who are young, who are coming into the field, are expected to break it. And because knowledge has to be understood, we'll have to see to what extent we need to be flexible, to what extent we need to be adaptive, what extent we need to understand the traits of a project and act accordingly to solve the surprises and challenges. And this knowledge of flexibility or making ready the workforce to meet the project has to be, the knowledge has to be disseminated across or transferred along the length and breadth of the workforce. This can further be, this is an eye-opening session. Project management, there are a lot of certification courses being given from IPMA. NPTEL too offers many courses on project management. IPMA, PMP certification are all there just to give input on the skills and the knowledge of project management. And today, this is just an eye-opening session. Innovation, creativity, usage differs from person to person, and in what way that knowledge is being used in the successful implementation of the project upon which he is being put. Disruptive innovation. It is not going to be the conventional normal way of working. It is going to be disruptively innovated. You will have to work so that the conventional thought that projects, normally it would delay, normally it would encounter at least 20-30% cost over, has to be broken, and we'll have to achieve it in time, which will give a prosperous future, which will give a very prosperous future. So we discussed, I would like to summarize what we discussed. We understood the role of projects in the nation's development and the quantum of money involved in it initially for a justification on the lecture which we discussed. And the characteristics, why this becomes, why this much delay and why this much cost slippage. We discussed the uniqueness and the surprises which a project may face in its course of action. And what is project management? And we emphasize more than science, it is the art, and of the art, the competencies which we deliberated were the leadership, usage of leadership, because people are one resource which can perform beyond its capacity, or I would say beyond 100%, while no other resource will give you outputs above 100%. While think of a motivated individual under a thoughtful leadership, this would deliver extraordinary results. So that competency is very much required, leadership and motivation. Further, as I was telling initially, novel and stiff challenges are, every time we do a project, it is not the same challenge we encounter. New challenges are coming. If you have to answer the new challenges and face it, you will have to have some innovative thinking and not the conventional way of, I know only this concept way of working. So innovative thinking is the need of the hour. And skill set development of the engineers can be done through various certification courses available in project management, as this would help not only individuals' growth, but also the nation's progress. And that is what we discussed. And we'll see the queries that has been raised in the particular chat box. And there has been few questions. The first question from Shri Upendra is key 5 areas of project management. What PM stands for? Project management. 5 key areas of project management. And as I was telling, competencies, people competency, practice competency, and these competencies are the key areas. And further, one from Mr. Deep Mandal, where the question is, does a career in project management require technical background? Is it confined students with engineering background? Not necessarily. It is not necessarily that project management is does require a technical background. No, it is open to all. It is based on the position upon which we are placed to deliver results. So no, it is not. It is not for students with engineering background. So it is open for everyone, and they can handle it. And one question from Shri Mr. Amir Sultan, and it is what is the most important skill for project management? I would say leadership, motivation, communication, the way you respond to the needs of challenges that arise is what is most required skill set in a project management. 80% of the time, theoretically, a project manager puts his time in communication. So that gains utmost importance. The success lies in to what extent you are able to convey clearly what is to be done, or what you thought in your process, is what is the biggest skill set we believe is required for a good project management. And this is coupled with leadership and motivation. So communication, is part and parcel of leadership. It's intertwined. Leadership, motivation, and other things are intertwined. And so these are the questions which had been posted in the chat box. So, I would like to further say a few words about project management. Say, project and project management are two separate entities, where project success and project management success are entirely separated. That's what I clearly made a mention, that project management increases the probability of project success and not ensures project success. In many of the cases, if you see, project may be successful even if the project management or the execution was a failure. And there are also cases vice versa, where projects may fail if the project management was done in accordance to all the sciences. It is because of one fact, is project success lies on the satisfaction of stakeholders. Satisfaction of stakeholders is one point which is entirely beyond the control of any science. There are many projects, I would say, which are a failure in project management, but success as a project, mostly architectural projects. I would like to mention only two projects of that. One is the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy, which was implemented in a very wrong or in a delayed fashion, which took a lot of time, and which actually it was an engineering failure. But as a project, if you see, it is delivering results. At the same time, another architectural example which I like to mention is the Opera building at Sydney, Australia. It took tremendous amount of time. The planning was revised, the architecture was revised again and again and again, and it was considered a failure in project management. It was considered a failure in project management. But now, if you see, as a project, it delivers its result, that it brings tremendous amount of revenue, and it acts as a face of Australia. Wherever you go, either it be in posters, it finds an imminent point. So that way, that is actually doing a best example of delinking project management success and project success. Project or success while the project management was failure. And in cases where project management is strictly done, projects can also fail. And now we have one question from Ms. Gayatri. Can fresher civil engineer do some kind of project management course or certification? If yes, what would you suggest, like institutes or course or examination? Yes, anyone, any degree holder can do a project management certification course. There are many courses which NPTEL itself is organization itself has got many number of 4 weeks, 8 weeks courses in its portfolio. Apart from that, there are certain external certifying agencies, IPMA, PMP. PMP is a foreign certifying agencies, even IPMA, while Project Management Associates of India on behalf of IPMA conduct courses, conduct classes, provide tests and do certifications. I would suggest NPTEL to that particular course, 8-week course that is there in NPTEL would do better. IPMA has got levels of certification. Initially, you will have to appear for IPMA D, then IPMA C, B, A, for which you require certain experience. It is not, you cannot straight away go to A. You will have to go one by one. After you clear D, you will have to need to put in some service in projects. Then you'll have to appear for C. Then you'll have to clear in a progressive manner. So civil engineers fresher can, once you are completing your degree, it is possible. These are some courses which can help you in getting some certification. Employment opportunities for certified professionals is more in the country, even abroad, and hence providing or pursuing this certification course is always advisable. And hope there are only that much of questions in the what we call it as in the chat box. So I would say project management, the learning, the lecture is an eye opener. I had just thrown you an idea on what the concepts are. To further grow, you may have to go in for certain further detailed study to get the competencies, and then get some certifications, and may act as a kind of employment generation. With these words, I would like to conclude my lecture on the topic project management for sprouting engineers. Before concluding, I would like to extend my sincere thanks for NPTEL for giving me this opportunity. I must also submit my sincere thanks to my organizations, because NLC India Limited is also part of the NPTEL institutional relationship. I thank the NPTEL participants for having actively participated through the chat box. I thank each and everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.